Hello, lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. Cory here. So I am here with day 13 of the 31 Days of Tarot Challenge. It's another late night recording, as you can see, but today's prompt is pretty unique. This was a question submitted by Nya Thryce, and she asked, from the Major Arcana cards, what card correlates to your sun, moon, and rising signs? And how has that resonated or played out in your life? Kind of an intense question. What I do know about astrology, I've studied it very lightly over the years, really just now starting to dig into aspects and houses and things like that. So, but I have known my sun, moon, and rising sign for a while now. I am a Virgo sun, Sagittarius moon, and Leo rising, which is an interesting combination, to say the least. So what I've done here is I've drawn two cards for each. The first card that we'll talk about is actually the Golden Dawn Association. So I will put that in the description box below, a link where you can go check out the correspondences and kind of look up what the Golden Dawns Association, or what card the Golden Dawn associated with your signs. So we'll touch on that. But then I have another card in the Major Arcana that I kind of feel like fits my life or resonates how that aspect has played out for me a little bit more than the Golden Dawn's version, if that makes sense. So let's at least look at the Virgo sun sign. So the Golden Dawn associates the Hermit with Virgo, and I definitely see that. There is a lot of self-reflection in this card, a lot of analyzing, you know, on a soul level, at least for the Hermit. The Virgo aspects can kind of play out a little differently depending on the person. I highly resonate with the Hermit card just because it also happens to be my soul card for this lifetime. You know, my mom used to tease me that I was a hermit even before I read tarot. So this card I have a deep personal relationship with. Now, that being said, I think that there, you know, are certain aspects of this card that aren't necessarily Virgo-ish. You know, this is a very spiritual card. You know, in my life, that is playing out. Obviously, I have an entirely spiritual YouTube channel dedicated to paganism, metaphysical topics, etc. So that plays out heavily in here. But looking at other Virgos, I'm like, don't know if I see every aspect of this card. I feel like this card really plays out to Virgo strengths in the, you know, comfortable being alone, especially, I mean, this card is about isolation, but being self-analytical, self-critical, looking at things from different perspectives with a very sharp eye, you know, those types of attributes, I guess, is what I'm looking for. I think another card, though, that really plays out for me as Virgo in the Major Arcana is the Empress. And I say that because Virgos also have a very nurturing side. I know that that doesn't always show for people, but being the earth sign that we are, there's a grounding, earthy abundance there that I don't know that a lot of people from the outside see. And for me, that has played out into, especially the role that I've taken on in this lifetime, acting as a surrogate for other families, constantly being the pregnant mother, literally, but also in that very real grounding advice. You know, I look at the Empress as that eternal mother that nurturer, that guide in your life as far as making important decisions, but coming from a very grounded and natural approach versus the emperor who comes at it from a very logical, kind of dry approach. So, yeah. My moon sign, Sagittarius. So the Golden Dawn has associated temperance with that. This one I struggled with, folks. I did. Because Sagittarius for me, and how it plays out, especially in my moon, is the eternal dreamer, the wanderer, the searcher. And temperance is all about balance and moderation and patience. I don't know many Sagittarians who are patient. I'm certainly not patient. So I struggle with this one. I struggle with that association, especially since I associate temperance with water and earth. And Sagittarius is a fire sign as well. So I guess I can kind of see that in most Sagittarians that I know tend to have a very, laid back approach to certain things, being that they're dreamers and idealists, they kind of, ease in there, with everybody, going with the flow, as we see here with the, flow of the water between the cups. That's kind of where it ends for me, and then I get kind of lost in translation. So if you are more studied on, Golden Dawn associations, maybe you guys can shed some light on for me on how you feel temperance associates with Sagittarians. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't studied that sign enough in astrology, and it'll click for me one day. But for me, how I feel like this is really played out is actually in the Fool card, which I know is associated with air as opposed to fire, but stay with me on this one, because for the Fool, I feel like there's that naivety and leap of faith that Sagittarians have, that things will just work out, right? No matter what, it's just like, it's going to work out. And that's the faith that really hits me hard in the Fool card, that need to wander, that need to explore. And Sagittarians have that in spades. So I feel like for me and in my life, Sagittarius more translates through the Fool than through temperance. By far. But that's just kind of how I see it. Plus, the dog there. I feel like Sagittarians are dog people. I don't know. Let me know what you think. And then my last sign here is my rising sign, which is Leo. And the Golden Dawn actually associates strength with Leo. And this 100% get, because while strength is about courage, it's also about persuasion and being able to take command, and Leos kind of do that a little bit naturally. You can see here, she's basically tamed the lion, and Leos tend to, especially Sun Leos, I feel even more so than other aspects, they just tend to have a lot of charisma about them. I don't know that necessarily translates for me. However, it translates through the strength card for sure. So that I get, and I can see where that plays out. I think for me with my rising, a lot of it has to do with the courage aspect as opposed to the persuasion aspect. I feel like it adds a layer of boldness to my personality, as far as, combined with the Virgo mind, and then, the Sagittarian, outlook that, yeah, shit's just gonna work out. Add a layer of raw courage to that, and I can be like a real shoot from the hip kind of dangerous person, which is probably why I married the person that I did, who kind of reins me in a little bit of like, that's a bit too bold, let's take it down a notch. So that's kind of where the strength has played out, at least in my Leo rising. Now, one that I kind of feel is a little bit more Leo, even more so than the strength card, is the sun card. And this isn't just because the sun rules Leo, which it does, that's a part of it, but in addition to that, the sun is also about success and, you know, vitality. And I feel like a lot of Leos really have that. And I feel like the Leo rising in my chart has really lent itself. Maybe I should stop making videos at 11 o'clock at night. I don't know. We'll put a pin in that thought. But I feel like my Leo rising has lent itself to a lot of the success that I have had, especially in my career. So you know, that sun card. Plus, I really love sunflowers. I don't know. I just love this card in general. It makes me happy. And I feel like a lot of Leos probably resonate with that, and it makes them happy too. So probably a selfish choice, but I feel like it works here, at least for me personally. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? I could be way off on all of these, but intuitively, the second cards are what I chose. First set is from the Golden Dawn. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. It was probably way more about me that you ever wanted to know, but there you have it. I hope to see you lovelies in the next video. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. And until I get to see you in the next video, blessed be.